morning, everybody. Ken Rodriguez with the North American Grand Prix Thursday Night GT League. Want to welcome you to the sunny Mount Panorama Bathurst Street Circuit. The schedule's toughest challenge to date awaits the drivers of Season 2 as the North American Grand Prix Assetto Corsa GT Series competes here at Bathurst this evening for Round 8 of the championship. The Mount Panorama Circuit, or Bathurst as it's more commonly known, is technically a street circuit. The track features dramatic elevation changes, a tight and twisty ascent to the top of the mountain, and a hair-raising straight to finish the lap on the descent from the mountain top. Tonight's race will no doubt be one of the most difficult challenges of the season. For the front runners, it will be just a matter of staying out of trouble and coming away with points. It's going to be an amazing race, and we don't want you to miss it. Last week, if you remember, at Mugello, Jeremy Bryant stole the show, claiming his second pole position of the season and went on to cap the night off with his first ever NAGP victory. Bryant, in the Ferrari, fended off serious pressure from the Viper, driven by Ronnie Nunez for most of the race, as the two were within a second of each other throughout the night. Fuel issues caused Nunez's potential podium finish to fall short on the last lap, ending his race in 5th. A relatively quiet night for John Ludden, as the Nissan driver finished second as a result of Nunez's misfortune. Andrew Werner took home the final podium position in the Corvette C6R. So, after 7 rounds of the championship, John Ludden holds on to an 18-point lead in the driver standings over second place Jeremy Bryant. Al Merriman is third, 32 points behind in the team championship. Suspect Speed Racing's Brad Maris and Jeremy Bryant hold a 22-point advantage over Roberts Dog Racing's John Ludden and Bjorn Heyman. David Poel and Andrew Werner of 05 Motorsport are 47 points behind the leaders. We invite you to join us here on NAGP this evening for complete coverage of tonight's race from Bathurst. The racing begins with 25 minutes of open qualifying, which we are already in with 22 minutes left, and it is followed immediately after by the 40-lap race. So we take you out to the action on track. Follow some of the cars around this very mountainous street circuit. Last week's winner, Jeremy Bryant. So Jeremy tonight has to carry around some success ballast, some additional success ballast over what he was carrying last week. So the young man from Suspect Speed Racing has to carry around 70 kilos of ballast tonight. We do have a no qual for, I believe, Alfonso Rodriguez. He has to serve a no qual penalty, so he should be in the pits and not out on track qualifying. This track, no doubt, a daunting task for most drivers. You don't typically see GT cars running around Mount Panorama. This is a V8 supercar track, and we see the Aussies always out here with their V8 supercars. And speaking of the track layout, let's go ahead and take you to the map. This is a 23-turn course up around the skyline area, 11, 12, all the way up to 19. That is the descent from the mountain. Turn 2, Quarry, all the way to 9, where you finish at Silman Park. That's all your ascent into the mountain. You got a very difficult descent because you're actually coming down through the S's, and you're trying to maintain a rhythm through that section in the S's to try and not lose any time, especially now during qualifying, more importantly during the race. However, an area of contention for these drivers tonight is that if they start to bunch up between 11 and 18, you might see some cars going off track and the barriers up there don't move, so these cars can catch wreck. So these drivers are going to have to determine what their strategy is going to be for tonight, especially if they find themselves racing within a group setting where they have cars either to the left or right and front and back. Give each other some racing room, get through the S's as cleanly as possible without losing control of the vehicle, and see what the outcome will be at the end of this 40-lap race. And make no mistake, people, 40 laps around Mount Panorama, not an easy task. It's approximately an hour and a half long to get 40 laps done, perhaps just a little over that. But these cars, they've had to work on setups. These are GT cars that are low to the ground, and here you see them with pretty much with rally setups for the night. So we shall see how this turns out. Now, for those of you that are watching live tonight, I want to advise you that I do not have the chat window open. There is no chat window open tonight. If you desire to chat amongst yourself, that is fine. If you see that I'm not covering perhaps one of your favorite drivers to watch, head on over to NorthAmericanGP.com and click on AC Live Timing tab at the top about midway, and you can see the live timing of each session as it's happening. That long back straightaway on the Mount Panorama circuit culminates in a bit of a dogleg where you used to have to start downshifting just about into third or second gear depending on your suspension setup. Most of these drivers, based on the way they're drifting around some of these corners, I would venture to say they have to take it down into second gear to get around that final turn and onto the main front start-finish straightaway. So we're on board with Moises Carvalho. Moises gonna take it off. Ian Jolicoeur driving a Porsche 911 GT2, sorry. Jolicoeur also takes it off. We got 16 minutes of qualifying left to go, and some of these drivers just don't seem to want to race tonight. Your early pole sitter right now, David Poel with a 1:59.639 out in front. Al Merriman sitting in second, about 4/10 behind David Poel with a 2:32. And Jeremy Bryant, although he's carrying 70 kilos of ballast around in that Ferrari 458, he's currently sitting third with a 2:176. And no surprise that we see Ronnie Nunez up in fourth tonight with a 2:215. Ian Jolicoeur rounding out your top five. Aaron Parsons currently sitting in sixth. Brad Maris in seventh. That was just a weird lag there, so we apologize for that. So continuing down the running order, Johnny Mac McIntyre driving the Audi R8 is sitting back in eighth. Moises Caraballo in 9th. Bjorn Heyman is running 10th right now with a 2:02.901. Now John Ludden still carrying around 100 kilos, back in 11th with a 2:04 flat. Now that Nissan is definitely going to have some issues getting around this circuit with all that weight attached to it, simply because it is a wide and somewhat heavy car. Alfonso Rodriguez in the pit serving his no-wall penalty. Take you on board now with Ronnie Nunez inside the Chevrolet Corvette C7R, brand new 2015. This is one sharp vehicle. If you recall, and we're watching last week, we did have an interview with Ronnie Nunez after we had spoken to Mr. Jeremy Bryant, the winner of last week at the Mugello circuit. And we learned how Ronnie Nunez had put in a ton of practice at Mugello for last week, was running second to Jeremy Bryant pretty much the entire race until he ran out of fuel at the end of the race there, pretty much on that last lap. So this might be perhaps why we're seeing Ronnie in the Corvette C7 racing here tonight. And so Ronnie Nunez, no improvement. Actually, Aaron Parsons jumps up to the second spot with a 1:59.981. So let's see if we can find Aaron on the track. Here we are on board with Aaron Parsons. Now Aaron Parsons is substitute driving tonight for one of the Corvette boys, Andrew Werner, who is out tonight. He is not with us. They went ahead and hired Aaron Parsons as their substitute driver for 05 Motorsport to keep the team's contention in the team championship alive. So here we see that Aaron Parsons is making good use of that Corvette here tonight, running in second, provisionally in second, with about a little over 10 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. Sitting in second. Now Al Merriman puts up a 2:32, which is a fantastic qualifying effort for the boss man. Ronnie Nunez back out there again, going to try and claim maybe a spot or two back as best as he can. We'll have to see how that works out. Thomas Schubeck right now currently sitting back in 16th with a 2:07.759. Now, we did see Tom Schubeck laying down some fast laps in practice, so not exactly sure what's going on here for the qualifying. But I definitely know that Mercedes-Benz SLS is capable of much more than what he's giving it right now. Mike Greatrix back in 14th with a 2:03.987. Matt Taylor jumps up to 8th with a 2 flat. John Ludden makes his way up from 16th up to 13th now A 2:03.345. And now Ian Jolicoeur sets a new pole lap with a 1:59.556. So that is going to move everybody behind them back. As we watch Mike Greatrix, the Competizione P45 car. This is a very unique looking vehicle. Reminds me of the old sports cars of the 70s. If you're a vintage fan, as I am, a Porsche 962 of 1970s fame. But with a bit more stylish accoutrements, if you will. So gotta go buy a team right now. Al Marum and Thomas Schubeck following each other around the track. Stay on board with Schubes for a couple of seconds here. And so tonight we see that Lou Mascarelli is substituting in that Stevenson Chevy Camaro. Lou back in 17th with a 2:07.198, substituting for Mr. Jack Ivy. Mascarelli, one of our regulars here at the NAGP Monday Night GTR2 GT2 League, which, folks, I am, it's a little bit of a bittersweet moment to announce this on air, but the North American Grand Prix owners, the executive board of the North American Grand Prix, the premier virtual racing league here in the North American United States, have made the executive decision that the current season that we are in, season 26 of the GTR2 GT2 League, will be the final season for the GTR2 platform. That's right, you heard it right here first. We are putting the GTR2 platform to rest after 10 years with that simulator. And Monday night is going to be moving over to Assetto Corsa. I believe that it's going to be Formula Abarth with fixed setups and no physics changes. There will be a skin pack. So Monday night's going to be moving to an open wheel series. And I believe that initially for the first season of Monday Night, Season 1, we're going to be looking for, I believe it's 11 teams. Yes, it's 11 teams. So 22 drivers. And as the league goes progressing, we will see an expansion of the league to more drivers, more teams. And it's going to be a good thing, I believe. So it's a little bit of a bittersweet moment for myself and for a lot of other folks, because GTR2 has been the premier sim platform for league racing for many a years. Sim been hit it out of the ballpark, in this broadcaster's opinion, when they developed that game to the point where it's at today. Graphics might be outdated, but if Sector 3 Studios ever gets a whiff of this and they're watching, guys, maybe it's time to make a legitimate, dedicated GTR 3 platform with a lot of the same features that you folks had already implemented in GTR 2. So, Jumping Jolly Jolicor out in front of 159.556. Still looking to better his times. Something tonight has lit a fire under that man's seat. He is driving like a man possessed here tonight. And he's got that Porsche hooked up, looking very racy, showing great pace. Hugging those apexes, using all the track that he possibly can to keep the speed up as high as he can and not lose any momentum going through some of these corners. Guys in the pits have put an end to their qualifying efforts with 1 minute 54 seconds left to go. Brad Merritt's still out on track. So, Brad Maris, not to be denied a pole position, puts in a fast lap of a 159.467. That is absolutely amazing that he was able to pull that off, bumping Ian Jolicor down to second. And so we saw Ian Jolicor out on track just a few seconds ago, perhaps trying to give it a last-ditch effort. Oh, there he is. But he's on an out lap, just starting a fast lap. Don't know if he's going to have enough. He's not going to get this one in. I don't think Jolicor is going to get this one in, as there's only 5 seconds left on that qualifying clock. And he will get pulled back into the pits. I believe. Unless the changes that Kunos have made allow all drivers out on track to finish. Jolicoeur not going to finish that lap. Looks like David Poel still not giving up on the effort. Nope, and it looks like Poel is going to go ahead and bring it in, so that's going to bring an end to the qualifying effort here. And we're going to, whoa, showing Ronnie Nunez grayed out here. Not exactly sure what the hell, there he is. He's back on. So, I believe that brings us to the end of our qualifying session completely. And it does indeed. And we will now go ahead and immediately take it over to the race session. Got about a 2-minute countdown before the lights come on. So we'd like to take, excuse me, this opportunity to do a little bit of house cleaning there, to let you guys know that, you know, here at North American Grand Prix, we do not charge to race, but maintaining the league and the servers is not free. We are donation driven. Al Merriman every month goes out there and he puts money out of his pocket along with some of the fellas from the league. So if you like what you see, we urge you to consider a donation. NorthAmericanGP.com. You can make your donation there. So quickly, we're going to go down the running order. We're starting from pole. Brad Maris, Ian Jolicoeur will start second. David Poel in third. Al Merriman starts in fourth. Aaron Parsons in fifth. Thomas Schubeck in sixth. Jeremy Bryant will start seventh. Ronnie Nunez in eighth. John Ludd in ninth. Matt Taylor in 10th. Bjorn Heyman will start 11th. Moises Caraballo in 12th. Mike Graytrix 13th. John McIntyre 14th. John Wathen in 15th. Carlos De La Torre in 16th, Omar Gomez 17th, Lou Mascherelli in 18th, and Alfonso Rodriguez will start in 19th as he had to serve his no-qual penalty. With just 30 seconds left to go, our great Assetto Corsa Sim will go ahead and just jump me into the pits before the start. I can bring you all the live action, which is a beautiful thing. Should be jumping me to the pits any second now. There it is. And the lights are about to go off. And your pole sitter, Brad Maris. Out to an early lead. Sorry about that. Brad Maris out to an early lead. Did not relinquish it to anybody. And we see David Poel coming up on the inside of Al Merriman, making an early challenge. Al takes it wide. Schubeck nearly gets the drop on Al. Aaron Parsons all over the tail of Thomas Schubeck now. And Ronnie Nunez right up there. Up in 7th, Jeremy Bryant in 8th. Heyman in 9th. Wathen is running 10th. De La Torre in 11th. John Ludd in 12th. Moises Caraballo in 13th. Omar Gomez 14th. Lou Mascherelli in 15th. Mike Graytrix 16th. Alfonso Rodriguez in 17th. John McIntyre back in 18th, and we don't know what happened to Matt Taylor. Matt Taylor didn't start the race. Oh, bummer. So, taking a look at your race leader, Ian Jolicoeur now. With David Poel on the side, looking up. Try and take that inside. Oh, David Poel, they almost touch. So David Poel's going to get the pass done down the back straightaway. Oh, and there's carnage back. A little further back in the field. There is some carnage. Roddy Nunez gets some of it. Jeremy Bryant. Oh, this is just so bad. Oh, some of these cars just got ripped apart back there. Brad Maris, not exactly sure what happened to him. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on with that car. I don't see any damage. So Brad Maris looks like he had a spin on the start-finish straight. Alfonso Rodriguez into the pits. John McIntyre into the pits. So David Poel now your race leader, followed by Ian Jolicoeur, Al Merriman. Al Merriman is all over Ian Jolicoeur's tail right now, putting all sorts of pressure. He's smelling his exhaust. And Al Merriman driving that Mercedes-Benz SLS like a madman. And now going to get a little pull off of Ian Jolicoeur right now. It looks like he's going to come up alongside of him. And he gets the pass done. What a great battle going on for second. Al gonna back out a little bit. Aaron Parsons right there in the mix now. Aaron Parsons looking to capitalize on the battle that Ian Jolicoeur, Al Merriman are having. So Aaron right now, they are going up the front straight. Aaron happy to just get some draft here. Little fuel conservation going on by Aaron Parsons, it looks like. Aaron Parsons is going to pull an offside move on Al Merriman. And now Parsons hunting down Ian Jolicoeur for that second spot. And so we're on board with Al the Boss Merriman. We see that the battle is raging up ahead between Ian Jolicoeur and Aaron Parsons for that coveted second spot. Parsons taking a look on the inside, does not get it done. Let's go on board with Parsons. Parsons with a good run on Jolicoeur. He's going to try and get that pass done coming into turn number one. Backs out of it. And so some of the pressure being pulled off of Aaron Parsons now as he focuses in on Ian Jolicoeur. We're going to stay with this battle right now. Aaron Parsons using up all the track, nearly scraping the wall with that Corvette. As they come down through the S's. And again, I apologize for those lag moments. So we are on board with this serious battle right here for the second spot. As Aaron Parsons trying to find his way around Ian Jolicoeur. Ian Jolicoeur not sparing an inch. And Aaron Parsons now with the advantage on the inside. Is he going to make it stick? The advantage to Jolicoeur on the inside, but can Jolicoeur hold that corner? And he does. So Aaron Parsons not having any luck here trying to get around Ian Jolicoeur. Perhaps getting a little frustrated as he knows he's got a little bit of pace on him down those long straights. Aaron Parsons try and attempt a pass here going up. Going up Mountain Straight and into Quarry. Nope. Aaron Parsons is going to pull out of it once again. To cycle back to 6 because it looks like John Wathen right now in a battle with Tom Schubeck. Back up front again. David Poel is kind of out there by himself. He's pulled out a magnificent lead for 05 Motorsport. Parsons seems to be pulling back just a little bit now, and Ian Jolicoeur spaces himself, but here we go again. Oh, Aaron Parsons with a run. Aaron Parsons with a run on the outside. Perhaps going to try the old over-under, and there it goes. He's going to try and make it stick as Aaron Parsons now has the advantage to the inside lane. Coming into turn 1, Aaron Parsons just has to make it stick as Ian Jolicoeur takes it wide, but Aaron Parsons gets it done. Aaron Parsons now running in second. Ian Jolicoeur lost the wind in his sails coming out of turn number 2. I'm sorry, coming out of turn number 1, he lost the wind in his sails, and now he's got to contend with Al Merriman, who seems to have picked up some pace here. On board with the boss man. now, it seems that Aaron Parsons is starting to open up just a little bit of a gap between he and Ian Jolicoeur. Could Aaron Parsons have his sights set on a win here tonight, or are the team orders as a substitute, Poel first, Parsons second? Time will tell, but we're going to give you guys some of the action from the rest of the field now. Bjorn Heyman now works his way up to 5th. Thomas Schubeck is sitting back in 6th. It looks like John Wathen's going to bring it into the pits. Might be having some problems with that car as he spins it. Right now, Brad Maris now. So Brad Maris will jump up to 7th after getting around John Wathen, who has just pulled into the pits. And we're only on lap 7 of 40, so I don't venture to say that this is a routine stop. Something must have happened, and we see that Lou Masciarelli, or Liquid Lou as he is affectionately known around here at NAGP, is having a fine run here tonight. He is currently in 8th. Soon to be battling, it looks like, with Mike Greatrix. Mike Greatrix showing really good pace here tonight in that Competizione car. And he seems to be closing the gap ever so slightly on Liquid Lou. Ronnie Nunez sitting back in 10th, not too far behind this ensuing battle here. We're going to have to see if Ronnie Nunez can capitalize. I know that Ronnie Nunez was involved in the lap 1 melee. John Ludden currently running 11th. Jeremy Bryan in P12 and Alfonso Rodriguez in P13. Johnny Mac McIntyre. Johnny Mac back in 14th. Carlos De La Torre driving the Aston Martin. Carlos is back in 15th. And John Wathen in 16th. So we've got 16 running cars, guys. 16 running cars. Your race leader, David Poel, all by his lonesome, out there putting on a driving clinic for everybody else. I gotta tell you, David Poel, he is definitely one of our fast drivers here at the North American Grand Prix, and certainly showing his mettle here tonight and his driving skill as he has just left the field behind. David Poel looking very racy out there. Aaron Parsons, the other half of 05 Motorsport for tonight. Aaron Parsons running in 2nd. Ian Jolicoeur running in 3rd, and Al the Boss Merriman in 4th. Bjorn Heyman having a superlative run here tonight. So he is running in 5th. And he is holding a steady pace up there in 5th, pretty much unchallenged. And we're going to cycle back to the battle now going on between Liquid Lou and Mike Greatrix. Mike Greatrix now putting some pressure on Liquid Lou. Liquid Lou subbing for Jack Ivey in the Stevenson's, the number 75 Stevenson Chevrolet. So Mike Greatrix showing some really good pace here tonight in that Competizione P45. We have not seen Marty Uren, I believe, for 2 weeks now. So calling Marty Uren, if you're out there and you're watching, buddy, come on back to the Thursday League. Boy, we can see that Stevenson Chevrolet showing its legs down those long straightaways. Boy, if these two drivers didn't have enough to deal with, they've now got John Ludden right behind them to contend with. And John Ludden, another one of our fast drivers here at the North American Grand Prix Thursday Night League, no doubt looking to make improvements in his running position. So John Ludden taking a look on the inside. John Ludden going to try around the outside this time. Mike Gratrix going to have to give up that position. Mike Gratrix drops down 1 to 11th. John Ludden up to 10th. And now John Ludden puts his sight on Liquid Lou Masciarelli driving the 75 Stevenson Chevy Camaro. So John Ludden, who started a little bit further back, had dropped some positions, is now up in 10th. Looking to take away 9th from Liquid Lou. And it looks like he's going to get that pass done down the back straightaway. And Liquid Lou, no fool, he's going to tuck in right behind that Nissan and get all the pull that he possibly can. Fuel conservation right there. He may not get the pass though. Whoa! A few extra miles an hour caused Lou to kind of slide off track there, but he's got it back on. But that's going to open up the gap to John Ludden, and John Ludden now is going to be able to take off. So Carlos De La Torre and John Wathen, they go down a lap off here on lap 10. 9 completed. They are working on lap 10. So David Poel coming around a complete lap 10. Aaron Parsons quickly closing the gap to about 6 seconds. So Aaron Parsons less than that front straightaway behind David Poel. See that John Wathen loses it there, coming down the S's. Ian Jolicoeur, your third place runner. Oh! John Wathen hits the wall back there, going up the back straightaway. Al Merriman in 4th. Now, let's take a look at Aaron Parsons, who just came across the line with a 2:02.86. His fastest lap of the session, a 2:02.389 so far. Not too bad. So let's see if we can find a battle going on here. Looks like we found one here between Johnny McIntyre and Mike Greatrix. Is John McIntyre going to make short work of Greatrix? It certainly seems that that Audi is unstoppable, unbeatable down these long straights. Wow. Spider Audi of John McIntyre. So John McIntyre now going up into the green. And just so you guys know that the driver order that you see on the right-hand side there, this is an app that is in beta testing right now. It is exclusively for the North American Grand Prix, developed by one of our own guys. And the colors mean that when they're white, they are kind of like unchallenged. Green means that they are in their safe zone from traffic behind them. Yellow means that somebody is getting ready to challenge. And red, you are under some serious pressure. As we see that Liquid Lou now is battling with Greatrix. Oh, and Lou is going to put it into the wall. No doubt that's going to give him some heavy damage. That was a hard hit. And now we see that Carlos De La Torre might have a slight advantage here over Liquid Lou Masciarelli, and that he could possibly get by him. Best thing that Liquid Lou can do at this point, hold out till the pit rotations, which I'm going to think that they're going to start coming in around the 18th lap or so. Yeah, I'm guessing around the 18th lap. So Mike Greatrix getting that pass done, now running up in 13th. John McIntyre in 12th, Alfonso Rodriguez in 11th. Jeremy Bryant, last week's winner, struggling here a little bit at the Bathurst circuit. Currently running in 10th, and John Ludden in 9th. Ronnie Nunez in 8th. Brad Maris is back in 7th. Tom Schubeck out there kind of like by his lonesome, running a great number P6, and Bjorn Heyman still out there having a great run tonight in 5th. Al Merriman your fourth place driver, and Ian Jolicoeur third, Aaron Parsons, and then your race leader, David Poel. David Poel is just kind of like, he's got to be figuring, I don't want to deal with any mess, so I'm just going to check out of here. Aaron Parsons, I want to venture to say that he's about 6-7 seconds back from David Poel. Yeah, 6.7 seconds. So we see that Wathen has pulled it into the pits and has called it a night. That Porsche not going to go any further. And it looks like Brad Maris is now starting to close the gap to Thomas Schubeck. That is indeed what it looks like. We see Brad inside that cockpit having to work that wheel pretty heavily. Stay on board here for a quick second as Brad goes through some trees and back on track. Again, sorry about the lag, folks. Do not know what's causing it. So Brad looking to put Shoebs down a position and take over that 6th spot. And we'll be right back. So we see that Brad Maris able to get the pass done on Thomas Schubeck. So now Brad will go ahead and take over that 6th spot. Sets his eyes on Bjorn Heyman next. Now Bjorn Heyman having a great run out there. See how far back Brad might be. So Brad is making some good progress here. Bjorn Heyman out there in 5th. Don't think that anybody's made any stop as yet. 16 complete. They are working on lap number 17 here. Jolicoeur about to put Mike Greatrix down the lap. Oh, Mike Greatrix going to come into the pits for service. Oh no, Mike Greatrix blows the corner. Al Merriman, he's out there in 4th, kind of running by himself. Ronnie Nunez going to take a DNF. Brad Maris in the pits. So it looks like Brad Maris gonna come out of his pit stop in 11th. Alfonso Rodriguez now running in 10th. Not an immediate threat to John McIntyre. Al Merriman takes his pit stop and goes. So we see that Liquid Lou and Mike Graytrix are both in the pits for service. Here on lap number 18, as Thomas Schubeck goes by, completes lap number 18 and starts on his 19th lap. And Jeremy Bryant running in 8th right now. Don't believe he's taken his pit as yet. And looks like Liquid Lou is out of the pits. Mike Graytrix gonna be right behind them as they both leave now. So we certainly see the difference in speed. Mike Graytrix and Liquid Lou out of the pits now. Both their cars refreshed, and it looks like they can go just a tad bit faster now. Nonetheless, we see that Liquid Lou is going to have some pressure from Mike Graytrix. On board with Mike Graytrix. Graytrix scraping the wall coming down the mountain through the S's. Not a good thing. You don't want that aero damage to mess you up, because this Mount Panorama circuit has some really long straights that can really harm your lap times and your ability to progress if you're carrying aero damage on your car. So, out of the race, Matt Taylor, Moises Caraballo, Omar Gonzalez, John Wathen, and Ronnie Nunez have retired for the evening. We are down to 14 running drivers. And we're following this battle right now for P12 between Mike Graytrix and Lou Mascarelli. Graytrix takes it just a tad wide. And a little bit further up, we see that Al Merriman gets around Bjorn Heyman. I do not think that Bjorn has gone into pit yet. Up, we see Aaron Parsons now in the pits. David Poel out in the lead. Ludden in 6th. Bjorn Heyman in the pits. So something happened to Mike Graytrix that he and Lou Mascarelli are no longer in a battle. Parsons currently in P2. About 5 seconds back from David Poel, so David Poel manages to keep his gap open to about the 5-second mark. Don't know if Poel is pushing that Corvette way hard or if he's just on cruise control around the Mount Panorama circuit, but it looks like the gap between he and Parsons has remained pretty consistent. John Ludden is in 5th. And your second place driver, Ian Jolicoeur, Ian Jolicoeur is actually catching up to David Poel, as Ian Jolicoeur has pitted and perhaps has put some fresh rubber on that car and is now on the hunt. We've got 19 laps to go. So we're watching Ian Jolicoeur going to cycle back a little bit because it looks like we might be having some battles going on for some of the lower positions. No, it looks like some of these drivers were just going through their pit rotations. So it looks like Ian Jolicoeur is the one who is not too far behind David Poel. Perhaps pushing that Porsche 911 beyond its limits. However, David Poel, no slouch either, able to push just as hard. But we see that the gap is thinning out ever so slightly. There you can see the distance between Poel and Jolicoeur. Poel just making his way up through turn 2. Jolicoeur gets there now. And Jolicoeur trying to drive a tight line around this course. Not an easy task to accomplish, as you ascend up the mountain and then down through the S's is a daunting task. And herein starts the descent as these drivers hit the S's right now. So David Poel, Ian Jolicoeur, Al Merriman, that is your running order for the top 3. Now we were able to see what the gap was from the hood cam of Ian Jolicoeur to David Poel. Looks like David Poel is checked out ever so slightly. And we see now that about an entire straightaway separates Jolicoeur from David Poel. Al Merriman just getting on that back stretch. Aaron Parsons and Carlos De La Torre make their descent through. Oh, Carlos De La Torre hitting that wall substantially hard. Ludden having to take evasive maneuvers around him. Bjorn Heyman falling off the pace a little bit. He's now back in 7th. Johnny McIntyre in 8th and Brad Marison 9th. Alfonso Rodriguez currently rounds out your top 10 drivers. We've got 14 out there. Thomas Schubeck in 11th, followed closely by Liquid Lou Masciarelli. Liquid Lou 1 lap down. This race pretty spread out here tonight. Unlike other venues where the last 2 weeks where we had some pretty close racing. Now these drivers are all spread out here after the pit rotations. Now we see that John Ludden moves past his teammate Bjorn Heyman in the standings up to 5th. Bjorn Heyman down to 6th. This is a good thing for Robert's Dog Racing. And John Ludden, who has a narrow margin over the 2nd place driver in the driver championship, looking to maintain that lead in the driver championship. And if you ask why, folks, it's simple. You win a nice prize from the league at the end of the season. While the prize might not be monetary in terms of money, it is a very nice, prestigious replica of a GT race car that gets sent to you. So David Poel, kind of like by his lonesome. Ian Jolicoeur are not effectively able to close the gap as much as he probably would like to battle it out with David Poel to for the rest of this race. 24 laps in, 16 left to go. So, unfortunately, not much going on here in terms of battles. Let's go a little further back here. Actually looks like Jeremy Bryant might be coming under pressure from Johnny McIntyre for that 7th position. Now, you got to remember that Jeremy Bryant is carrying around 70 kilos of success ballast in that car, where John McIntyre has 0. So we've got a battle brewing. That battle is brewing for the 7th spot. And because of the battle that Jeremy Bryant is trying to avoid with John McIntyre, it seems that they have caught up to Bjorn Heyman, as Bjorn Heyman now goes yellow. So it looks like we might be facing a 3-way battle for 6th here within the next couple of corners, or at least the next 1 lap. Yes, as they go, as they descend down the mountain. Oh, and we see that Thomas Schubeck now has taken the DNF. So we are now down to 12 drivers left. This Mount Panorama circuit, boy, I gotta tell you, she plays no favorites. And if you're not careful, it'll catch you out there. So, Bjorn Heyman, Jeremy Bryant, John McIntyre, duking it out for 6th place. Great battle here in the mid-pack now. As we have only 12 drivers, we have a great battle going on for 6th. Jeremy Bryant not making it easy for John McIntyre to get by him. Now we see that John McIntyre's got great pace down the long straightaways. And that Ferrari no slouch either, but Jeremy Bryant just holding the line as John McIntyre tries to take a peek on the inside, but no joy. So it's kind of hard to tell who's got the real pace here because these two drivers have been going at it for several laps now. Jeremy Bryant able to hold off a hard charging John McIntyre. There was a point where they were starting to catch Bjorn Heyman, but it looks like now Bjorn Heyman has been able to pull out a little bit of a gap on these two drivers as Jeremy Bryant takes more of a defensive driving line versus the fast driving line. So we're going to stay on board with this battle for a few. Oh, and we see that John McIntyre has gotten that pass done on Jeremy Bryant. Jeremy Bryant taking it wide and off into the grass. Not exactly sure what's going on with that Ferrari. Jeremy Bryant's got to get it together. And here comes teammate Brad Maris. Brad currently running in 9th. Here comes teammate Brad Maris to try and help out Suspect Speed Racing. So Jeremy Bryant and Brad Maris running 8 and 9. Suspect Speed Racing team. With a 1-year agreement. Signed a 1-year deal with Ferrari. Signed a 1-year deal to run the Risi cars. And it looks like Jeremy Bryant gonna give Brad Maris the green light to go ahead. I happened to be looking over at their Ventrilo channel, and I saw that the yellow lights were going on, so they were perhaps discussing the opportune time of when to let Brad pass. Now Brad, who seems to have plenty of pace here tonight, is going to set his sights on McIntyre, Heyman, and Ludden. 9 laps to go. 9 laps around the Mount Panorama Bathurst circuit can seem like an eternity. So we're still on board with Brad Maris, and he is still on the hunt for Bjorn Heyman. Now Bjorn Heyman, who's got Johnny Mac up ahead, Not going to be very easy to get by. I don't think that Heyman will just roll over and let Brad pass, but stranger things have happened. So now we see that John McIntyre's inherited 6, and John McIntyre driving like a bat out of hell. Bjorn Heyman now looking a little bit more racy as he's going to try and hold off the hard-charging Brad Maris. Ooh, Brad Maris doing a little rallycross driving there. Might have gotten a cut penalty, I'm not sure. So this is where it's at, folks, right now. This is the battle ensuing mid-pack. Brad Maris looking to improve his finishing position overall. So we've got 33. We've got 33 in the books with only 7 left to go. See Brad Maris now just behind Bjorn Heyman as Bjorn Heyman tries to keep that car on track and point it forward. And again, Brad Maris taking it through rallycross driving for the second lap straight in a row. See Bjorn Heyman tries to break the draft. Who's got the legs down here at the end? And it looks like Bjorn Heyman gonna hold on to that spot, at least for now. They take it through. They'll start taking it through the mountain here. Brad Maris definitely holding the tighter line, but Bjorn Heyman not giving him an inch. As Brad this lap decides to avoid the little sand trap over there on the left-hand side of the circuit. And it looks like Brad Maris is just going to have to ride that bumper until they get on that back straight. Can't let him get too far away because that Nissan has got some serious grunt on the low end. And then once it gets going, really hard to catch it. nice little battle here for, looks like 7th. Brad Maris with just 5 laps to get this pass done if he's going to do it. We will have to see. Holding off a hard-charging Brad Maris. Now Brad Maris once again right up on his tail, and again I gotta say that Brad Maris cannot let him get that far away. As they hit the bottom of that hill, that's where Bjorn Heyman seems to have better grip. He's able to pull away from Brad Maris. Brad Maris getting a little bit of a push down at the bottom of the mountain. Cycle you through some of the other field here. Looks like John McIntyre has started to catch Mr. John Ludden. Still carrying around 100 kilos. 4 laps to go. Take it up a little bit further here now, folks. Aaron Parsons. Aaron Parsons is still running in 4th. Al Merriman in 3rd. But here we've got Ian Jolicoeur. Man, not too far behind David Poel. David Poel now making his way up the mountain, but so is Jolicoeur. So Ian able to close the gap to 4 seconds. That is just incredible, given the pace and speed that Poel has been driving here tonight. John McIntyre gets around John Ludden, but John Ludden now keeping Mac right within his sights. And Brad is going to go ahead. He got himself around Bjorn Heyman. Now Bjorn Heyman's going to have Jeremy Bryant to contend with. We're going to take you up to this battle right now. Looks like the closer battle is John Ludden and John McIntyre, Audi versus Nissan. The V8 Nissan versus the V10 Audi. McIntyre, man, oh man, he's just driving like a man on a mission, holding down that 5th spot. John McIntyre driving the Audi R8, driving a superb race here tonight. Came out for his second stint a little down in the order, but he has steadily made his way up. He is now running in 5th. Has to make his way around some lap traffic. One of the asses, Carlos de la Torre. He's going to go wide and let these guys through. Very courteous, very professional of him. So now Brad Maris has got his sights set on John Ludden. Oh, Ludden loses it. Maris gets by. As they now start on completing their 40th lap. Jeremy Bryant gets back, so Ludden now gets pushed back into 8th place. Carlos de la Torre coming into the pits. Oh, what a turn of events here for John Ludden. So Brad Maris now up into the 6th spot. This is the last lap. As your race leader is going to come through and take the checkered flag. And that's a done deal with Ian Jolicoeur, who is right behind them. Al Merriman going to finish this one off in 3rd. Aaron Parsons coming through the last half of the back straightaway. Al Merriman going to finish this one off in... I'm sorry, Aaron Parsons in 4th. John McIntyre will come across in 5th, and Brad Maris in 6th. Jeremy Bryant 7th. John Ludden 8th. Bjorn Heyman 9th. Alfonso Rodriguez in 10th. Lou Mascarelli in 11th. Carlos De La Torre, the last of your drivers, will finish in 12th. So that is going to do it for us here from the Mount Panorama Circuit. We're going to go ahead and see if we can grab a hold of David Poel for our post-race interview. David Poel, Ken Rodriguez in the broadcast booth. How are you, buddy?
Hey, better now that that's over.
You know, I'll bet. I mean, I gotta tell you, you drove a phenomenal race. You were out there and consistent. Ian Jolicoeur, no doubt, putting forth his best effort tonight. Had that Porsche really hooked up. Gave you a little bit of a run there towards the end, but you held him off. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, and yeah, I'm sure you smell blood in the water there. I don't know if you saw what happened, but I just barely had a little scrape on the outside wall going into the last corner before the back straight, and it just crumpled up the front of the car. The hood was just, I thought I was going to fly off it a few times. It was like 7 laps to go, and I had, I don't know, 15 seconds in front of him. And well, you saw, I'm sure, it was one more. He'd have passed me on the start-finish straight if there had been another lap to go. So that was a lot of work.
Yeah, no doubt, and I'm pretty sure you were white knuckling it around the circuit, but certainly a great race. Up until your mishap, certainly it was brilliant. You seem to have that Corvette somewhat figured out. How does the car feel going into the rest of the season? Not much left to go, but how does the car feel? Have you become comfortable with it?
Oh yeah, fantastic. I mean, the car is probably the easiest car to drive I've ever had. Just real easy to get comfortable with. It's not, for us at least, it hasn't ever been like the fastest in any track, but it's good at every track. It's easy to drive, and I think this might be the first race I've ever finished at Bathurst. So to get a win in it, and I barely made it, but yeah, and both the times, but I did it on the same thing, 7 laps to go, both times in each stint. The same thing, just by myself, made a stupid little lapse of concentration. So the first one was not nearly as bad. It was only losing about a second a lap. But yeah, lucky to get through it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? We want to congratulate you from the league. That was a brilliant win. Um, you guys are up there in the championship standings, and we're going to have to see after the points are all calculated how this is going to turn things around. Aaron Parsons ran a brilliant race here tonight, was in second for the first stint. I think he finished fourth after Merriman was able to jump him in the pits, but still nonetheless great for '05 Motorsports in the team championship standing. So I'm sure that was a great help to you
Yeah,
guys tonight.
yeah. It's too bad Andrew couldn't make it, but a big thanks to Aaron. He drove great, and he had the same thing I did, just a small unforced error, and unfortunately for some reason his damage took 30 plus seconds to fix. So that's where he lost all the time. He was going quick. It's too bad that he lost so much time in the pits. But yeah, he drove great. So almost perfect. I mean, I think we'll see how much ground we made up. But now Andrew won't have weight next week. But still a lot of points. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Well, once again, congratulations from us here at NAGP. We're going to go ahead and drop you back down so you can celebrate your victory with your teammate. It looks like you got a couple of other visitors down there in your room. So we want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us here tonight. David Poel, everybody.
Thanks, Ken.
And so there you have it. David Poel, your race winner here tonight, and Aaron Parsons, who was substituting for Andrew Werner, um, put on a brilliant show, finishing in fourth. And so we're gonna have to see now after the points calculations are all done, how that changes the driver standing, given the fact that that not Bjorn, but John Ludden kind of finished a little bit down the standings here tonight. But he's probably losing a huge amount of that weight, and no doubt that'll help him out for next week. But for the North American Grand Prix, and all of the racers here tonight. I am Ken Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next week. Good night, everybody.